Hello, everybody. My name is True Demon, and I'm the Devil Stockbroker coming in live for another market stream. We're going to be taking a look at the market overall and trying to hunt down ourselves a couple of earnings plays. Before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to one of the Discord's favorite mods, Mr. Boulay. Welcome back, Mr. Boulay.
Hey. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
In typical Mr. Boulay fashion, can I get a roll call?
Roll call. Even though we are kind of short today, do want to say what's up to Mr. Savvy Trading, Baba Slow, Bobski, Captain Robot Insano, Casual Fool, Echo, my man, Flinster, Grilled Rockfish, Hide 'em. Hold on, new ones in the mix. Logical, Lush, Mr. Head, Mr. Milkman, Mr. Name, Neil, Oki, Pro GT, Scrap Queen. We got Snake W900, Persephone in the house, T Kane, one and only True Demon, Zuma Nana. Let's go.
All right, guys. Thank you, Mr. Boulay. Let's go and take a look at the SPY to start with. We've had an interesting start to our day. So the SPY gapped down just as predicted. We had a nice drop where we were able to take profit almost exactly at our original take profit level at 390. We bounced just above at 390 and 15 cents, taking profit at the opening bell, and let the SPY bounce up from there. We've since been rejecting off of a couple of different exponential moving averages, especially the 50-period 1-hour moving average. Now that we're sitting here showing an evening star candlestick pattern with confirmation, we know that the SPY is ready to continue moving to the downside, so we're going to go ahead and enter into yet another trade. Sadly, my paper trading account, for whatever reason, TradingView is having some problems. Their paper trading system is down for maintenance, so the portfolio is not getting updated. However, we did make an attempt to enter at 394 even, which would set us up for a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio at a take profit of, what was this? I want to say that this was 380 even. So maybe we'll get a chance to get an entry on that. Right now, the paper trading account is completely blocked out, so no luck there. But all the same, that doesn't mean that you guys can't get in. So the thing to look for here is after the SPY traded to the downside for the past 3 trading days in a row, we've taken profit multiple times on multiple bearish trades, caught the bounces a few times. Now we are setting up yet another bear flag. So let me go ahead and adjust my technicals. So as you can see, we are trading within this perfectly aligned bear flag. Moving over to the 15-minute, we can see that it is forming out what looks like a head and shoulders. So we're starting to get just a little bit of a push off of the bottom of this bear flag. So we are catching just a little bit of support. If we get another bounce and we see rejection off of 393.75, we'll go ahead and set our shoulder level right there. That matches up with a high of 393.66 on this 15-minute candle starting on the left-hand shoulder here. If I drop down to the 5-minute, excuse me, you should be able to clearly see this head and shoulder pattern. So we had this bounce, retrace, break out to the head, and now we are looking for this right-hand shoulder to fill out, and then we will expect to break this bear flag. So if we see rejection right off of this 200 period, or excuse me, this is the 100 period exponential moving average on this orange trend line. If we get rejection off of here, then we expect the bear flag to break to the downside. Don't trust this break right now. It is just basing and finding support here at the neckline. Until we get a clear breakout with a strong close to the downside, this hasn't filled out the head and shoulders yet. We haven't even tested the outer band of the VWAP just yet. So there is still a chance for the SPY to bounce here. We want to make sure that if we're getting our entry, we are getting the best possible entry. Keep a close look on the MACD. You can see that we are getting further away from the slow line, so the momentum is still in bullish territory. RSI is basing here at just around the 40 RSI level. And the price is diverging to the upside. Let's go ahead and move over to several of our indicators. We'll take a look at the HYG and then put the SPY next to it so that we can track what HYG versus the SPY are doing together. Remember that HYG is the high yield grade corporate bonds. These are junk bonds. We like to use this as an indicator of what the smart money is doing as opposed to what the market is doing. Because as it happens, they tend to disagree. And the bond traders tend to be right. So here we have a clear divergence. What we see on the SPY is we've got higher highs on the SPY, and for HYG, we actually created a double top and broke to the downside with this gap down. So the SPY's movement right here, which you can see is starting to form out a head and shoulders. HYG has already decided that this is the top, and bond traders are considering pushing the market to the downside. Also on the PPO, we are getting a second cross to the downside developing right here, which also coincides with a very slight bearish divergence right here between these two tops. One top is, we have a lower high on the RSI with a higher high on the price chart. So it's very, very small, very subtle. I'll zoom in here so that we can see it very clearly. So this is what I talk about when I talk about bearish divergence on the RSI. When you see the RSI printing a lower high and you see the price chart printing a higher high, it's very subtle. It's like super, super small. All right, so on this green candlestick, we have a high of 74.69, and on this candlestick, we have 74.70. So it's literally just 1 penny more, but we do have a divergence here. So this meets our qualifications to go short on HYG. And since we know that HYG predicts the moves in the SPY, what we're going to do is we're going to go short on SPY. So thank you to our smart money indicator. We always appreciate that the bond traders tell us the secrets of the SPY before even the SPY knows what's going on. We'll go ahead and clear these charts up, make things a little bit cleaner. Now we've got the confirmation that we need. By the way, guys, we got 100 viewers here on the stream. If you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already a member. And consider joining Hell's Trading Floor. We've got a great Discord community that can help teach you these techniques and show you how to become an independent day trader that makes the market work for you. Let me catch up with chat. What's going on, guys? Always good to see everybody's faces. Good afternoon, everybody. Sargert, sorry to hear that you've been sick, man. I hope you feel better. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind, it's always appreciated to keep the spirits up in the chat. I always want to hear what your thoughts are. I'm interested to know your opinions too. Tell me what's going on, what you're thinking. I'm watching the YouTube chat very closely. Let's go catch up with this Ross play. So this is one of the plays that I was looking at for an earnings play. So this one is a little bit riskier, but this is a large cap stock. This is a $33 billion market cap company, Ross Discount Stores. So the earnings on this one, I want to give you a little bit of background on the company if you don't know about them. Most people have been to a Ross stores at one point in their life, but if you haven't or you've never seen the brand, Ross is a discount clothing outlet. Think TJ Maxx or Marshalls, or just like just a step above thrift store. They sell closeout clothing for all the major brands, and their focus is on the lower and middle income consumer. They are considered a discretionary sector stock, and lately, discretionary stocks have been performing very badly. We actually saw that Walmart and Target both posted less than desirable earnings, with Target massively underperforming. The difference is that what kept Walmart's earnings as good as they were was that Walmart actually posted a positive earnings, although less than expected, because they have groceries. So groceries are the number one reason why Walmart's earnings were positive, um, as opposed to Target. If we look at Target's earnings, they massively disappointed because grocery sales are less than 20%. Everything else that Target sells, which is clothing, and usually they do sell name brand clothing, but they sell it at discount prices. Not quite as discount as you would find at a Ross store, but the general trend of the industry shows that these companies are not doing well. And we've got several indicators on Ross that suggest that they might be hitting the top of their market. So, beginning with the weekly moving averages, if you look at the weekly chart on Ross stores, you can see that they've now crossed into bearish territory on the weekly chart, where their price is trading below their 200 weekly moving average, and there has been a death cross on the weekly 50 below the 200. So this is an exponential moving average. If we actually switch this over to use simple moving averages, which I'll do right now, then you'll see that we also still have that crossover, and we are trading just below the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart for Ross. On the daily, it's a slightly different story. We've actually had a golden cross. So on the daily chart, it looks a little bit more positive. What I'm struggling with here is that Ross has not been putting out positive earnings quite like they've wanted to. They've been dropping their expenditure in order to try and lower expenses as much as possible to shore up their balance sheet and their cash flow. However, they're starting to lose ground. So they missed revenue last quarter by 22.5 million, which is a really thin margin. And this came after, I believe it was, shout out to, was that Grilled Rockfish? Who was that was sharing with me what the revisions were? I want to be sure that I'm crediting the right person. So somebody called out what the revisions were, but there were only 2 up revisions and 13 down revisions on revenue from Ross, and those Given the number of down revisions on Ross, I'm anticipating that their revenue is going to massively underperform. Was that Milkman? Shout out to you, dude. Mr. Milkman 78. Sorry about the miscredit. I was not able to catch who it was when you were handing out that information, but that is excellent info. So, Mr. Milkman 78, thank you very much. Shout out to you, dude. Yeah, Scrap Queen has the exact figures on Walmart versus Target grocery sales. Walmart had 55% of grocery sales, Target got 20%. And that's just simply because Target has more expensive goods. People are looking for deals anywhere that they can go. And you can get better deals than Ross discount stores. Mr. Boulay says, speaking of department stores, check out the Gap on Gap. Let's go take a look at Gap stores. Gap Inc. Oh, they have earnings too? This might be an even better play. Earnings estimate. Consent. Interesting. Okay, so they are. This could be the better play here. Let me go and run a quick analytics on Gap. Stand by, guys. This stock is so thinly traded, though. It's so thinly traded. Is there another? I've got to be looking at the wrong ticker. All right, GPS is the ticker. Here we go. All right, this is a much better indicator. Okay, yeah, I see this abandoned baby candle here on Gap's chart. This one little candle left all by itself above the 200 period daily simple moving average. That tells me something. And we have a harmonic. Interesting. So they're trading at 1257 right now. Let me go take a look at the analytics that I have over here. All right, earnings surprise on Gap. They posted positive earnings last quarter, and they beat on revenue very slightly by almost 1%. Wall Street has been downgrading them consistently. Want to also take a look at the insider trading on Gap to see what their team is doing. But when I look at their daily chart, if I take away this, let me go ahead and take away the fib that I have here. Okay. Yeah, whatever this pump is doesn't look right. Because when I look at the daily, like this is a big bearish divergence on the RSI. Like this is clearly bearish divergence. We got lower highs here on the RSI and higher highs in the price chart. We had this abandoned baby candle, which it's trying to break the pattern. But we've got multiple bearish cross downs on the MACD. Nah, something's off about this.
Yeah, from looking at the MACD on the 2 hour, it looks like it wants to cross on the buy side. 4 hour looks like the stochastic already flipped. But I really didn't do any major DD on it. I was just looking at that gap up there from 18 to 21.
Yeah, I hear you. How about unusual
You know,
whales? We got unusual whales on this.
I think I saw that on the TIBLIO watch list too, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look at it right now and check.
I'll go take a look at the the live options inspect. I'll drop that in live stream chat for the Discord. So
Yeah,
you
I
guys can
ran
take a
one.
look at that.
It looks like it's kind of 50-50 if you look at it. I mean, it's a little bit on the bullish side, but not
Yeah, I see
50-50.
put call ratio is 50-50 on it. Hmm. It's acting bullish, but it doesn't line up with the sector. Let's go take a look at the stock heat map and check out let's check out consumer discretionary.
Yeah, that's where
Consumer
it popped up
discretionary.
at. Tiblio's watch list for the day. It popped up, said earnings, most active, and top trades.
Let's go to all US companies on the heat map. We'll switch to a monthly performance. Consumer services, consumer durable. Where's consumer discretionary? All right, we got retail trade here. All right, so retail sector, Walmart, Baba, Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, CVS, EJX companies. So TJ Maxx on the month has been really outperforming. On daily, things are pretty mixed, but all of the big caps are down, including Amazon, Home Depot, Costco, Lowe's, CVS, and TJ Maxx. On the weekly, it's mixed leaning green. Interesting. Okay. So this is what Ross looks like on the weekly. Here's Gap with a 12.8% performance on the week. Gap has been outperforming all month. It's been outperforming for the last quarter and outperforming on the year or on the 6 month.
The Scourge bot also had some. On the 10th, it looks like it had some filings too. For some reason.
GPS news article today above. Oh, thank you, Scrap Queen. So Gap expected to return profit, offer clues on macro environment earnings preview. Gap is set to post its third quarter results Thursday after the market closes. Revenue, the apparel retailer is expected to report $3.82 billion in revenue, down from $3.94 billion in a year ago period, according to FactSet. Adjusted earnings, the San Francisco-based company is expected to post break-even adjusted earnings per share, compared with 27 cents a share a year earlier. Gap is expected to report $11.8 million in net income compared to a loss of $152 million a year earlier. Leadership Watch look for any guidance from Gap about who will lead the company next. Gap in July replaced Sonia Singhal, a chief executive officer, after a little more than 2 years on the job. Executive Chair Bob Martin Former Walmart Inc. executive was named interim CEO while the company searches for a permanent replacement. Inflation report. The retailer's latest results will detail how much inflationary environment impacted operations. The company swung to a loss in the second quarter as it dealt with elevated inventory levels and record margins. Chief Financial Officer Katerina O'Connell said in August that Gap is focused on reducing inventory, rebalancing its assortments, and reevaluating investments as macroeconomic challenges persist. Wall Street Journal in September reported that Gap eliminated about 500 corporate jobs in a move to reduce expenses. Investors will closely watch Gap's results to ascertain how resilient both consumers and businesses are to price pressures and high borrowing costs. Data on Wednesday showed U.S. retail sales rose strongly in October, up 1.3% from the prior month. The Federal Reserve has been aggressively raising interest rates to slow the economy. All right, the rest is just about the Fed. We already know that information. That's a good point, Persephone. I didn't think about that. There was a bunch of people that had children during the pandemic, so that's true. They could be selling a lot of children's clothes. But I was under the impression that Gap was a particularly expensive name brand. As I understood it, they sold to much more affluent customers.
Well, it ain't a children's place, that's for sure. It is premium.
This Head and Shoulders, though, man.
Yeah.
Hey, TD, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Scrap.
Oh, I just wanted to let you know that Gap has 4 brands. They have that Old Navy, which is a value brand, and that sells kids' clothes, but they have that higher end brand of, it's not Abercrombie and Fitch. I can't think of the name of it. I did some research on it, but they have 4 different brands on that Athleta brand. Old Navy, Gap, which is kind of like preppier clothes, and then a higher end brand. I have to look at the name of it, but
Is
they
it
do have.
Hollister?
No, give me 1 second. I have to look
Okay.
under my Queen study.
Barry says it's Banana Republic.
That's it. Yeah, they were basically rebranding it and trying to serve like a higher end clientele with like chic fabrics and that sort of like, I guess, cheap
Gotcha.
chic.
Okay.
But a lot of their Gap sales came from China, their Gap brand sales, and their Old Navy sales were hurting because they just couldn't get the right inventory mix at the right time last year. But they said they were writing that. So maybe that's why now they're expecting to turn a profit. Maybe they finally got the right mix.
Let's go look at some other competitors and go see what else is going on. ASOS overhauls operations as apparel demand becomes unpredictable. ASOS on Wednesday announced a sweeping overhaul of its business after swinging to a £32 million loss in year-to-date period ending August 31st, down from last year's profit before tax of £177 million sterling. Revenues at the apparel e-retailer, which acquired Topshop and other UK brands last year, rose less than 1%. Sales improved slightly in September, but the company said the significant volatility in the macroeconomic environment makes it difficult to predict demand in the coming months. ASOS renegotiated financial covenants and at a year-end has banking facilities of over £600 million. Let's take a look at Gap's financing and see how much debt they have. Okay. So they have $5 billion in debt, $700 million in cash on hand, $3 billion in inventory of finished goods. Actually, how does that compare? So they've got a big increase of inventory. Their inventory was steadily increasing quarter over quarter. So what does their cash flow look like? Depreciation and amortization. Pretty much holding steady. Operating expenses are 0.3 billion. I gotta make some decisions here. Express is up. Macy's is too. Well, I was really leaning bearish on the whole sector overall, but now I'm not so sure.
Is that why everything was 50-50?
Maybe so. Man, is okay. So there's like 2,500 calls got bought yesterday. Yeah, actually, in just the last day, people are buying a bunch of calls. I don't know, man. That feels like the perfect opportunity for a market maker to pull the rug. It's so indecisive. I'd almost just go with a straddle on this one.
Or flip a coin. And then it's earnings too. Right now with the whole bad earnings make stock go up. Good earnings make stock go down.
There has been a lot of that. It's frustrating. Let me switch. Okay, I am in EMA. What do these contracts even go for? Man, that's expensive. That's stupidly expensive. They're selling this. They're selling this stuff for $1. They're selling this stuff for $1 a piece for calls and puts that are expiring tomorrow. You can get the same price on you could get the same price on puts and calls on a strangle for December 16th. For December 16th, you can buy a $12 put for $86, and you can buy a $13 call for $97.
That was crazy, Nickel, because I was looking at that earlier. I was talking about it in the Discord, and I was saying 35 cents. 35 cents to break trend. After that, it could be money.
All the biggest options traders are selling calls at the money right now and buying puts. And the cost, the value of the calls are going up. Nah, I'm going short on this. No. They set up a bull trap on this one. That's what they did.
Well, if anybody buys it today, it's just for tomorrow. It's not. That's going to be a straight gamble anyway, regardless. So there's just a lot of people are going to just go either way on it. Unless majority of what you see are going to be spreads. Yeah.
If I'm wrong, but like I just looked at unusual whales. I'll show you guys this really quickly. So you look at the biggest movers on unusual whales, look at how much value the calls are up now and how much lower the puts are. And then just look at the biggest trades that occurred today. Everybody sold their calls. They've been taking profit on all their calls, and somebody just bought a bunch of puts. $82,000 worth of puts expiring tomorrow. $10.50 strike. This was a floor trade, too. You want to tell me that somebody doesn't know something? Nah. These options are straight dumb expensive. Hey, Mr. Milkman, we're talking about GPS, that's Gap. Gap Inc., the clothing outlet.
Especially for something that expires tomorrow. That is crazy expensive.
Yeah. I take one look at this options flow, and I see a bull trap being set up right here. Because you look at all of these, all the value of these going way up, and then all just today, we've had all these calls get sold into the market. Market makers are setting up a bull trap. Let me go take a look at Max Payne on this. GPS Max Payne, $11. Ain't no way that these $10 puts go in the money, but
I think it's got a lot of action right now because of earnings. Probably why. Other than that, I don't think.
yeah,
I like Ford,
I'm
though.
pretty confident. Gap's coming down. Like, even if they report something decent, I think that this is we're just going to see the chart get rug pulled because you see all these calls just got poured into.
All right, you go
Way
with
out
the
of the
gap
money.
down. I'm gonna go with the gap up.
You're going to go with a gap up. Okay. Well, if I'm wrong, then I guess I'm wrong.
You can't be wrong. Never.
That's what everybody tells me. Yeah, I guess the consumer does decide.
For real.
But like I've seen
Well,
materials get more expensive, cost of distribution get more expensive, like every fuel, everything is just so much more expensive. The clothes have gotten way more expensive. Like I go to the grocery store where you get like the cheapest made clothes ever and a pair of jeans is like $80, $90. It's like what the hell? I even I'm not willing to spend that kind of money. Like that's just dumb. I can't imagine anybody else doing it. I would rather go to Ross. I would rather go to the Ross store in my neighborhood and spend like $15 on a pair of old jeans. Like I don't care if it's name brand or whatever. Hey, Ty Stocks. I'm sorry that I didn't take a look at your request earlier. I was looking at AMC, and I know people are asking like, is it ready to go? But at the moment, it's still in this pullback phase. But if we do see a bounce here, I'm waiting for this evening star to confirm. So we would need to see this get engulfed with a big red candle. So some big candle that would take us up to above 750 tomorrow, and then that would signal continuation for me. AMC's holding up very nicely right here. So if you're long in AMC, I would just say wait another day and hold on. Just wait to see what the market does tomorrow. Because if the market's selling off and AMC is still holding its price, then we can see a bounce and this thing could move from there, start heading back up in this direction. That's the kind of move that I want to see. I want to see us recover 750 and hold there. Because what I've been watching is for us to hold this 50 period moving average, this green line that you see on the chart. We can just hold this level. This is the most important level for us not to break here. If the market sells off and drops, then, it can pull AMC down with it. Alex, thank you for the $5, homie. Yes, I can absolutely check FSR for you. Thank you very much for the $5. That money goes straight to the that goes straight back to the Discord to pay for all of our data. Let's go take a look at FSR. It's Fisker Incorporated. Okay, I see this double bottom right here. This is nice. Very nice double bottom formation. And you have continuation with a confirmation bounce off of this 50 level. It is printing an inverted hammer candle as this last candle, but like this is a really nice setup. You have this initial bounce here and then a confirmation retest and then another bounce, and now it's beginning to hold support here above its 50 period EMA on the daily. That's a very good setup. Volume candles look nice also, starting to turn around. It's been in a bear market for a while. Not that anything else hasn't been. Let's take a look at where we're currently at since this mid-November of last year. So from last year to today, 74% sell-off. I forget what these guys do. They're in motor vehicles. Technology-enabled automotive business model which involves vehicle development, customer experience, and sales and service. Designs, develops, and manufactures eco-friendly electric vehicles. Company founded by Henrik Fisker and Gita Gupta Fisker in 2016, headquartered in Manhattan Beach, California. Let's see. Yeah, technicals are good. Income, not so good. The profit margin is holding steady, flattened out a little bit. Financials, let's see. Revenue is not going anywhere right now. It looks like they're still in development phase. Their earnings are probably not going to be any good. But this is like 100% a growth stock right here. This is big speculation. What I like here is that they are still holding onto assets and not absorbing new liabilities, at least not at a fast rate. So they're working with the capital that they have. Chris B says SPY is ripping. All right, we'll take a look at it in a second.
Ripping.
All right. I would say give it another day to make sure that you get a confirmation candle where it holds this 50 EMA and you start seeing it move up. Because what you want to see is for this stock to hold its range. What I'm anticipating is that the stock will start to range sideways for a while and probably trade in this way for a significant period of time. But set up this indicator, okay? Use this volume direction candles. Volume direction candles can help you out big time here. This will show you kind of like an OBV indicator, but it'll show you a moving average that will tell you what the trend is. And when you see this crossover so that there is more buying volume over time than selling volume, then that will give you a positive indication of accumulation. This company is a big speculative stock, so you don't want to jump in too early thinking that it's going to just go to the moon overnight. This is one that you're either accumulating and investing in for the long term because clearly they're a growth stock that's still fairly young. Their revenue is nowhere to be found for right now, so they're going to need time. But I really like this setup. I do like it. But this is probably going to consolidate to the side for a while. You do want to see that. So if you're accumulating this company for like a 5 to 10 year investment, then this is a great price. As long as a decline of $2 doesn't matter to you, then feel free to continue accumulating. If you're trying to scalp this trade, you're very close to the top of what looks to be like a consolidation channel starting to form. So you want to make sure that it crosses and breaks above 875 and starts to push against the 200 period EMA. Whatever you do, this is going to need time. Hope that answers all your questions, Alex. Thank you again for the super chat. It's always very much appreciated. Garrett. Oh, Prox GT. Okay. Been trying to get the Discord to look at ARDX. Okay. Yeah, I remember this stock coming in onto the scene some time ago. That gap is wild. I don't know what the deal was with this one. All right, we're down to the last 8 minutes of trading. So let's see. We're going to try to get an entry on the SPY. ARDX, I don't think I have time to do analysis for that one before the close, but we can take a look at it afterwards. Yeah, SPY is trying to break to the upside. Which is funny. It's downright hilarious, in fact. I think we're going to get that cross down to the downside. RSI divergence is showing the SPY should be getting pulled down here very soon. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get an entry into a short position on the SPY. Let's see if TradingView lets me actually get in on this now. Okay, cool. We got it. I guess TradingView fixed their orders now. I can't cancel these for some reason. It was placing the order. What the heck, man? All right, we're trying very, very quickly to average on some orders here. Trying very hard to get a better cost average.
So I was going through my Snapchat memories today, and a year ago today, we were killing it on Prague.
Oh man, it was a long time ago. It's crazy to think that we've been doing this for more than a year. We were almost at the 1 year anniversary of this Discord. We started at December of last year. Man, it's crazy. We used to be a humble community of like 50 traders, and now we're up to 1,000 active traders. Well, I hope you guys are set up and very happy with your positions. We're I'm going bearish on Gap for its earnings. I have a feeling there's going to be a big rug pull. It may be a bullish earnings. It might be great. Like it might do well, but the way that the options market is setting up, it feels like a bull trap. They've had big, strong moves on their MACD. It was really bullish, but it started trending down and the strength started to leave it. And it moved really far in such a short period of time. Like we moved 60% since the middle of September. I feel like retracement is due for this one.
I'm looking at their options for tomorrow. There's 65 cents for a $13. For a 14, you can get it for 30 cents. I mean, that's not bad. I think shit, 30 cents is not bad. For 13, oh shit, never mind. It's going up 66. I'll throw a $50 bill at it. A $45 bill for $13.50.
I detect this is weird, man. This is weird. I know there's a lot of bullish indicators right now, but there's just a few that look too good to be true. Is AMC going up into close? Probably means they're going to rug pull it in the morning. No, I wouldn't. That's not a rip. I know the volume's coming into it, but that's not quite what I would call a rip.
Just real quick, you don't have to do any DD on it or nothing. Check out that 5-minute candle on Mulan. The one that happened earlier.
Oh my goodness. What in the heck? Mullen still makes no sense to me. Are they overdue on their earnings?
What doesn't make sense on Mullen?
For real, right? Goofy stock.
Are they flying or something? Like, what happened to them?
There was just this one 5-minute candle where it went like absolutely ballistic. The candle opened at 27.9 cents, and it just had this huge wick up to 32.8 cents. And then it came straight back down.
That.
Yeah, it's just a weird 5-minute candle. It just wicked up big time and then came straight back down.
Watch for filings after 4. Maybe one of the people inside bought a whole bunch, or you know what I mean. They might have cleaned out the whole. They might have cleaned out the whole ask in order to get what they were trying to get.
Maybe.
Jesus, that close! I wish I would have held on to those calls another minute.
I've seen that. I call that a glitch in the matrix.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
That candle's nuts.
Wow.
What's even crazier is it's a 1-minute candle. If you get like that whole move is a 1-minute candle. It's not even just like over 5 minutes. Like if you go down to the 1 minute.
Look at this. Look at this
I
nonsense.
That, I would have made over 10 grand. Jesus.
What in the heck? Spy, what are you doing?
It wasn't any more volume than anything else. That's weird. Maybe it was a late settlement on something, or
maybe
the behavior today was really funky on that downturn. Something smelled not right. That's why I went in so heavy on calls. I was like, there's no way. I felt like logical.
Don't do that.
No way.
You lose accounts like that.
I know. I was like, there's no freaking way. This is not right.
You're talking about your entry on those 392s, right?
Yeah. I was watching, I'm sitting there and I'm watching Bitcoin turning hard to the upside, Dixie continuing to fall, bond rates not doing squat, and the market was just selling off like nothing. And I'm sitting there going, I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing. I didn't hear any news come across the Squawk Box on Benzinga. There was no news on TDG. There was no news on any of the screeners. It was just this massive sell-off. So I'm like, this has got to be people just selling off, late with the profits that they probably grabbed from earlier today. And as soon as this finds a bottom and stops, I mean, there's no reason for this not to rip back up to the upside.
Well, I have to disagree because the trend for the short-term bonds, they're actually looking to invert over the 2-year, and that's one of the biggest signals of the last leg of selling. We got FOMC that's coming up in, what's that? Is it 1 week or 2 weeks from now? When is FOMC?
3. It's on the 13th of December, I think.
I just didn't see a huge catalyst for the massive sell-off across the major Qs. Aside from people taking profit. Maybe I didn't see something mid to long term for sure. But like for a day trade for the next 2 days, I'm sitting here going, it hit 390. It bounced off of that hard, ran to like 395, came down, retested the 38.2, but then it just, like, after the consolidation, just started dumping. And all of the indicators that usually are the major catalysts for that, the Dixie, the bond rates, HYG, like all that stuff, was not signaling sell, sell, sell. It was either staying sideways or actually moving, in a positive direction for the SPY. And the selling was just a pile-on effect. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this has got to be people getting shaken out.
So Ross beat earnings. Anybody else see that? Wow, I'm glad I didn't buy puts.
Say Tesla.
I was
you
just
want me to say Tesla?
I was looking at it like, ooh, man, like, I don't know. Like, Ross, maybe they will beat. I don't know. I was really uncertain. I'm glad I didn't buy puts. What does this mean for my gap position, though? That's the real question. Look at this candle. I guess we're going to find out. So Persephone, did you get that call? I see you in the chat. I thought I saw. I'm pretty sure that I heard "F it." I'm getting a call. Ah. Well, it's still not real until the market opens the next day. But wow, like, I really gotta say that's quite a print. That is quite a print. All right, let's see where everybody else is at. But BBIG is disappointing me. What I want to see is for BBIG to hold up its 75 level. As long as it doesn't break 75 cents, then that's great. BBIG is overdue for their earnings. I don't recall if they actually made the announcement. Hey Scrap, I see the mention that you put in chat, but that's not me. Snoop Dogg is making Snoop loops. This is the real news that we needed to this is the real news that we needed to be covering today. How could I have missed this critical information?
Sorry, and I misspelled it. It's actually Snoop Loops with a Z.
Snoop loops with a Z.
Yep. LOOPZ.
Open breakfast fans. Snoop loops.
Basically,
Oh,
the article saying that, like, he's going to try and do it, but they think Kellogg's going to have a problem with it and come after him because of trademark infringements on Fruit Loops. That's hilarious.
Ooh, Tony Smith, yes sir, yes indeed.
Oh, wow. This is hilarious.
It actually says he's been busy trying to submit all kind of trademarks for food products recently, like hot dogs and stuff like that.
Hot dogs.
That's
He
amazing.
He might be trying to make a run at like making like a Snoop Dogg like food brand line.
I will buy that stock if Snoop starts his own Snoop Loops company. I'll buy that instantly.
I'll buy that for $1.
That is amazing.
Speaking of, I did get some news that there's some bills that actually went to Congress.
Oh no! What the hell? Hit admin 123. I hope this isn't a cross-site scripting flaw. Every box comes with a joint. Oh my god.
We'll be able to do that soon.
I'd believe it too, though. Like, I would. That's too funny.
It comes with a coupon for your local dispensary.
That's entirely too hilarious. No, I can't. I can't even. That's too funny, man.
Get you some fruit blizzles, my nizzles.
Oh, man.
It's good to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, I missed you, Boule. You make every stream more fun. Oh, man. Let's see. I'm while we're looking at a couple of other stocks, you guys feel free to let me know if there's anything that you want me to take a look. Crunch.
So next week for market stuff, we just have some general stuff coming out, like the jobless claims and stuff like per week, all that kind of crap that's coming out.
Right.
The meeting minutes are coming out on Wednesday from the November meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to keep an eye out for. That'll be on Wednesday, the 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That's really the main big stuff that I see next week that we would have to look for. So I don't really see anything that should push too much one way or the other. We do have a bunch of speakers on Tuesday, though. You got Mester speaking on Tuesday, FOMC member George, FOMC member Bullard. All three of them are speaking Tuesday.
Okay. Good to know. I'm taking a look back at the housing market stuff because we've also got reports for existing home sales coming out tomorrow before the bell. Oh wait, no, that's a half hour after the bell. So existing home sales numbers are coming out tomorrow. There was this big drop. We saw a huge gap down in XLRE today, and now we're getting that bearish crossover on the MACD. It's not quite outside of the price cloud though. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking that XLRE will probably put in a new high, and then we can start looking at going short on the real estate market again. We're at that point now where XLRE is moving to the midpoint of its channel. So if we see like a fast acceleration to the upside where XLRE starts taking out like the highs at $40 or so, then we can look at going short on housing again and go long in DRV, which that was fun.
It's really interesting. We just we're going into the slow market of the year for sure. Like winter is always a huge slowdown across the board, and this year would seem like larger than average. But it was really strange. Interest rates actually came down last week.
Yeah,
I did see an article about that. That's interesting.
Which could have an effect of a little bit of a pop for those who are needing to get into something and have been struggling a little bit because of down payments and everything like that. You might get a small little rush to get into something to give a little pop for the winter. But historically, though, winter is always like that's nobody's selling the house.
Yeah. And since it is the slow season, like if it's in line with seasonal expectations, then I could see that lifts. I could see that lifting the market in the short term. Where I expect the bear market to start coming in heavy again is in the spring when people start listing their homes again, and we see everybody push their homes in the onto the market like in February, because that's right at that time where everybody starts listing at the same time anyway, seasonally speaking. But if we don't see that demand coming back into the market like everybody is hoping, then we see sales continue to decline during the hot season.
Yep. And if interest rates stay high and we have fewer and fewer all cash buyers in the market, the writing's on the wall.
Oh, thanks for the heads up, Persephone. That's okay. So I guess, hey J-Ref, would you mind muting yourself? You're we can hear your kids. Yeah, we can hear your kids coming through the microphone. No sweat, dude. So apparently the financial results are not out yet on Ross. This is just a big, move ahead of expectations. So we don't know what this is just yet. I guess we're gonna find out. But no sweat, Persephone. It happens. We'll keep an eye out for those financial results on Ross, just because I'm really curious now. I really want to know. Let's see what else happened today. Iora not doing all that great still. Been in decline consistently for the last 3-4 days. What a disappointment.
What is Gap doing?
Making me sad, I guess.
I picked up that little $50 call.
We'll see what it does tomorrow.
1350. I just wanted to open up good. I'll just sell it right when it opens. If it even holds it, you know how it is. That it'll move like that and then it'll go right back down.
Yeah. It does happen that way sometimes. I don't know, man. This market's been weird. It's been real weird. SPY's touching its fast moving average on the volume direction candles chart. So this is when I start to think like maybe now the market's going to pull the rug out from under everybody, and we're going to see some big selling. I watch these daily values very closely, and just when we think that the market's about ready to put in a new high is right about the time that the volume direction candles start wicking around at that fast moving average, and this happens right at the top. And it always coincides with these bearish crossovers every single time. And only when that crossover happens outside of the price cloud and the volume direction candles have touched that moving average do I actually see the real selling occur. That's when the sell-offs get signaled. And we're starting to see that now. We peaked just above it. So you look every single time that these volume direction candles tap the top. Look at where the price was. Isn't that funny? Those are just the tops on the volume direction candles right when it breaks above that moving average. Oh, there's another one. I missed one right here. Missed one right here. This volume direction candle signal is freaking accurate, man. I'm telling you. I'm going to be putting a video out on this exact signal. Because this is freaking accurate, man. Here's another one. It called the top of the market, too. That is wild. Look at those market tops. That's perfect every single time. Yeah, beat. Oh, thanks for the heads up. Looks like I was wrong.
Whew.
Hey, La Flame Blanca. No, we are La Flama Blanca. We are not currently playing Upstart, or at least I'm not. I'm not aware of anybody else that is. But we can take a look at the chart. See, they gapped way down on their earnings and then recovered very quickly. That's interesting. I find that really interesting.
I like this stock.
You do like that stock?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr.
Up a
Boulet
lot
likes
in the
this
spirit
stock.
spot.
I see this fake out breakout right here after earnings, and then it bounced off of the bottom. Big V-shaped recovery. Now it's retesting the floor of this descending wedge. If it bounces here, then I could be interested. I could be persuaded. But I really need to see another bullish cross on MACD before I make that decision. Either it rejects here or it comes back down to retest and then crosses with a higher low. I need something like that.
Looks real hot.
Yeah, no worries, J-Ruff. No big deal. Sometimes that happens. For whatever reason, Discord, like, the push to talk stops working. I've seen it happen numerous times.
Yeah, I don't even use that anymore. I just use the mute on my mic.
Posted on the 15th, Unusual Whales, November 18th, call for $26. Big ask volume up to 8,600. Interesting.
Yeah, beat. Yeah, sometimes it don't even matter if they beat or not. It goes down if they beat. So you never know. But it's up more reason for it to just.
I need to catch up with chat. I got a lot of people asking for thoughts on tickers, so I'm going to try and hit these. I see one for BB. Let's see. Melanomus. Let me know if you're here in the chat. I'll go ahead and drop thoughts on BB. So the bounce off of the bottom of this channel and then a quick recovery off of the VWAP ATR bands. This is actually a really nice setup. I've been watching the stock make this very similar move.
Did he
I would say if I put
again?
this on a regression channel. Okay, so if
My
I
bad.
see BlackBerry hold this tomorrow and maintain a price level of 450 or even bounce back above and get into the midpoint of this is the midpoint of this trend, right? So if I can see this continue to set up a new higher low and it holds this 200 period 1 hour moving average, this is an EMA, by the way. If I can see it hold this, then I could be persuaded to take a long bet on this. On the daily chart, all these moving averages are pretty far away from each other, so it's very possible we see a floor. The problem that it's having right now is it is fighting this resistance that was set up when we touched this floor and then crossed below it. So this is a significant area for BB. 475 seems to be a really important price level for this stock. See, they've been beating earnings slightly and beating revenue slightly. So as long as they don't break down any further, if they break this low and cross below 460 at any point tomorrow, then I think that would indicate that they are about to break this bear flag. It really needs to hold this support here. If it breaks below, then it's probably going to have to retest this low. And you can probably work out a short bet and take profit around here. I mean, if it's worth it to you, that's just like a technical setup. But if it holds this level, then you can just continue riding a long bet on this channel for an extended length of time. But right now, just be aware that overall the shape of this is a bear flag. So if this breaks the bottom, then it's very likely to continue selling off. So got to be careful. Hope that helps.
Hey, TD.
Yeah, what's up, Boule?
You say his name again?
That was Melamamas. Why is that funny?
He changed his name to Melamamas. In Spanish. We'll talk about that in the Discord. That's crazy. I caught that, bro. Like, seriously.
I only know a little bit of Spanish. I don't know what the hell Melamamas means.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that in the Discord. I can't talk about that right now on the stream because, YouTube, man. That'll get you striked for nothing.
That'll get me striked.
Give you some strikes.
Oops.
He's laughing.
I'm looking up a translation of it. Okay. Yeah, I can see why that's bad. Okay. Never mind. No further explanation is required. You got me. You got me. You got me to say it on stream. Damn it.
I was like, hold on. What is this? Wait.
Oh, man.
Our viewers are a trip. That made me laugh.
I'm going to have to learn Spanish to protect myself from our own viewers. Oh, man. You did get me. That was funny. All right. Let's catch up with Gap really quickly. It's GPS. All right, so they did beat, and now they're ripping. So it looks like I was wrong again. I guess I'm not getting a good read on the market for earnings lately. $18.90. So the theory goes that with T90, I'm assuming you already know about it, but we're approaching the for everybody who hasn't heard about this. Let me go ahead and get my prediction tools out. So T90 for Ape's, I guess IPO you would call it, is marked on Monday next week. The theory goes that if the stock is let me think this through. So the theory goes that because AMC was excessively naked shorted at the time of its spinoff with APE, AMC Preferred Equity Shares, that T90 is a significant date due to syndication. Syndication is a concept of when a firm is so underwater in its positions that they're no longer considered to be it's not like of sound mind, but basically the control is taken away from those companies because they can't be trusted to make sound financial decisions. So a bank is put in charge of their account, or multiple banks, maybe a syndicate. It's called a syndicate of banks are put together and assigned to the account of the shareholders. And they make the decision of when to cover a over-leveraged short position or any over-leveraged position. And there is a 90-day deadline when this decision is made, and there is a forceful closure of the account. Now, if the theory of this supposed spinoff of APE from AMC, created a whole bunch of synthetic shares or just simply moved the synthetic shares to a new type of equity, then that would mean that APE has a whole bunch of naked shorts along with AMC. And since that T plus 90 deadline is coming up on Monday, the theory goes that you would expect to see AMC launch because all of the shorts that were in their positions on AMC going into this syndication date would get caught up in this big reversal. So it sounds good on paper, and I even believe it's possible, but it can't be proven. That therein lies the problem. Is that we can't actually prove that there is a bank that's like seized control of all of these short accounts and that they're being forced to close out their positions. But this condition only shows up when there's like a spin-off dividend or something like that. In the case of AMC and AMC Preferred Equity, the APE shares were spun off and paid out as a dividend to shareholders of AMC. So any of the shorts that weren't able to deliver that stock, all those failures to deliver accumulated on their account, and now they're in default, basically. That's big air quotes around that. In reality, since AMC sold off massively since that dividend occurred, like down 50% from the time that that dividend was issued, these guys may have already covered and provided those shares for all we know. We don't actually know. That's the problem with the theory. Is that because AMC sold off so hard, and because apes sold off so hard, which I do consider apes to be the reason for it, okay? I think that most people gave up. I really do. I think that most people have moved on, they sold their positions, they are not willing to go through the pain, and it's just it's not like, you know, it's not like it's any one person's fault, but it's that if this squeeze was ever going to work and Wall Street was ever going to actually get punished, it really did require every single person to hold the stock no matter what and continue to buy continuously, which that's a big ask for an entire, like, how many shareholders was it? There was like more than more than 5 million shareholders. It would be See, Paulo, that's the That's the one that I'm confused on. I'm not sure that it's T90 or T plus 90 would indicate 90 settlement days. But the spinoff occurred 90 calendar days ago. So what's coming up right now is T plus 90 calendar days, not T plus 90 settlement days. I think people do get that confused. This is 90 calendar days. 91 calendar days actually on November 21st. I'm basing it on calendar days because T plus 90 days after the Tide spinoff, and that was in calendar days, 90 days after the spinoff and Tide, BBIG came out of suspension from a exchange halt, and their stock shot up from 50 cents all the way to $1.50 in a single day. Yeah, if it's working days, then January of next year would be the case.
So this is going to be a little bit off topic, but Senate passes marinara medication bill. So eyes on the green stocks. I know which one those are. Sundial, Aurora's, Canopy. There's a few others, or just the ETF in general. I'm gonna go ahead and post it in the chat so y'all can check it out.
Yeah, WEED ETF is a basket of stocks in that sector that seems to be performing pretty well in the near term. But be wary, they have they're losing momentum.
But that's interesting though. The Senate passed the bill on Wednesday. It will expand research into potential medical benefits. Wow. So the Dems and the reps pushed that through.
Mm-hmm. So does anybody else have any other tickers that they would like me to cover? We're about a half hour past the bell, so I'm going to be closing out the stream here in just a few minutes, but just in case anybody had any other requests, I was going to stick around just a little bit longer to cover them. Still short on NVIDIA. Alibaba. Okay, we'll check out Baba. I think Alibaba's experiencing a little bit of a pop after the Amazon exodus. I don't know if anybody else has felt it, but I feel like Amazon has really declined in their product quality and has been in decline for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's only getting worse the more people complain. That's what I felt like. It's a nice recovery. The momentum is moving in the right direction for it to continue going. But I would watch for this crossover. Once it starts losing momentum, especially if after you see the RSI create bearish divergence, I'd start to get really nervous. So for me, it's too late to get in. If you're already in, ride it out. Let the trend carry you to wherever it's going. Look for it to hit its head on the 200 period moving average. If at any point you see this crossing the 200 period moving average, that's pretty much the only thing. That's pretty much the upper limit to where I think that this stock could reach in the near term. For me, it's too much of a risk to enter into a long position for Baba. I don't think that it's done moving to the upside, though, so it may need more time for it to finish consolidating and finish out its bull trend. Once it does eventually finish, I can see it setting up these It's setting up higher lows, which is the reason why I'm like, don't short it just yet, because it's moving in a parabolic direction now. You see this staircase step up? It just keeps moving up with higher lows constantly. So it'll probably put in one more low after it hits the top here. If it hits $90, $95, that's about where I would start looking to go short. If it just goes straight up from here in like a parabolic curve, then it can come crashing back down very quickly. That's something that happens. The parabolic curve, which is different from a parabolic arc. Parabolic curve patterns tend to crash very hard. So if you see this thing still moving up past 90, then start looking for weakness in the chart. But for right now, I would stay sat off to the side and just wait it out. Happy to help you, Hugh. I don't think I'm gonna call you that either, my dude. But I can check out GME for you. I'll just call you Mel. Like Mel Gibson.
All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. I gotta go tend to my doggies, man. I'll get with y'all. See y'all tomorrow.
All right,
Hopefully, I'll see
Boulay.
you on the Discord.
Good to
Later,
see you
homie.
again. Thank you for being on the stream. We'll catch you later. We'll be closing the stream out very shortly anyway, so say goodbye to Mr. Boulay. We'll cover GME, and then we will close things out. So GameStop. So far, looking to shape up like a big V-shaped recovery, which I really like. I love to see this. Sharp move to the downside and then a sharp recovery, and it's now testing $30. GameStop at this point, with such low volume, it's still really hard to tell who's in control here. But with a bounce like this, I'm beginning to think that there might be an opportunity for that short squeeze that we've been waiting for. Let me go take a look at my short squeeze inspect indicator from ScourgeBot. Yeah, we do have a gamma ramp here on GameStop. I'll share this chart with you guys so that you can see it. This is a gamma squeeze chart, which is based on the number of call open interest on GameStop between this Friday and December the 30th. This is the percentage of the float that would be in the money at a given strike price. So as the market price climbs to newer strikes that you see here on the x-axis, that's the horizontal axis, as more strikes go in the money, a larger percentage of the float goes in the money. What this tells us is that as the price climbs on GameStop, you can see a huge ramp, and this can create a feedback loop of covering in shorts and market makers closing out call contracts or needing to buy shares in order to cover their call contracts that they sold. So this does have some real potential to climb rapidly out of control of market makers. Let me go and see where most of these expire. Give me just a minute. Waiting on the data to finish generating. Yeah, if you guys are invested in GME, let me get some dancing demons in the chat. GameStop is what brought me to this market in the first place. Which you could call that a good thing or a bad thing. but it's the truth. GameStop is what started me on this whole thing. It's what brought my attention to AMC, got me into digging into the stock market and figuring out what the heck is going on. Okay. All right, so this gamma ramp is very, very heavy for this Friday. But it does get heavier the farther out you go. January seems to be where the largest number of contracts are consolidated to. I need to do a few other analysis on this one, so bear with me, guys. Let's see, December 16th. It's going to be a big one. Okay. So this catalyst here is based on tomorrow's expiration. The largest percentage of shares for this gamma ramp is for this Friday, tomorrow. So the more of these that go in the money tomorrow will lead to a big push in the price. I would say that for GameStop to really start running, it needs to close above $30 strike tomorrow. It's imperative for it to close above $30 strike for this to keep going. That guy that came out, I don't remember what his name was, but he came out and spoke on Bloomberg and said that if GameStop climbs past 30 in the next in November, that it could squeeze. It would definitely create a squeeze. He was not lying. This gamma ramp does create the conditions necessary to see a squeeze, but it has to close above $30 this Friday for that to happen. It's very important for GameStop to close above $30. That would create the necessary number of options expiring in the money and being exercised by call holders, forcing market makers to exercise to deliver those call contracts that are being exercised. That is a requirement. So it's still got a ways to go. The higher the price goes, the better, but $30 is extremely important. That's where a huge bulk of these contracts are sitting at. So that's a big ask for GameStop to have a, what would this be? That would be another 8% day. So to say that GameStop is going to run 8% in a single day that's quite a big ask. So it's up to retail and it's up to the whales to decide who's going to go and carry home the victory next morning. Hey Dan, I was looking at UPST a little bit earlier. If you go back about 15 minutes in the stream, I was covering it around 15-20 minutes ago. It's not one of the ones that I was looking at for a short squeeze. Although it's totally possible. I wasn't specifically looking at that one. Maybe I'll go take a look at UPST on Ortex just to see what the data looks like. But UPST doesn't have the conditions that I was really looking for. Let's see. Short interest on UPST? It is pretty high, but it's still in a downtrend. UPST is one that I'll have to keep an eye on. I'll keep a careful watch on it. UPST's gamma ramp is actually super impressive. If I show you guys the gamma ramp here, it's a ridiculous gamma ramp, but at about $30, UPST gets ridiculous. And most of the options that are expiring for UPST at those levels are on December 16th. So not this month, but next month. There is a big gamma ramp concentrated on this month, but the really big one is December. Is UPST on the threshold list? That's a good question. I actually don't know. Yes, it is. It was just put on the threshold list 3 days ago. So I find that pretty interesting also. Failures to deliver were pretty ridiculous on this one. It's on a rotating cycle. Utilization is maxed out 100%. Cost to borrow 25%. Free float on loan is 47% of the total float, with 35% of the stock sold short. IBKR availability shows that there's still a lot of available shares to short. I'm not sure how they're supplying that with utilization being this high. But I'm guessing it has to do with the hokey options that these guys have available. What could kill the UPST gamma? If they can drive the price to just maintain its current level, actually. If it doesn't cross above, like, it needs to break $25 for the gamma ramp to really be put into play. It has a huge gamma ramp, but it's spread so far out, and it's so far away from the current price. For UPST to gamma, it needs to at least hit $25 to even get started. And to ask it to jump by $5.50 tomorrow to get things going, that's kind of a big ask. Their earnings were not that impressive either. I don't know what their guidance is like, but unless there's a fundamental change in Upstart's finances, they're not likely to make a big recovery anytime soon. You could definitely see a short squeeze in this one, but it would have to come from a big push from retail and whales. Okay. Well, thank you guys for attending the stream. Really appreciate having each and every one of you here. It's been nice to be able to get back into a regular streaming schedule. It seems like I'm having more availability in the afternoons to be able to do these power hour streams. So look forward to seeing me more often here on YouTube. If you guys enjoyed the stream, please be sure to leave a like on the video. It helps out the YouTube algorithm and brings more people into the streams every single time. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. That way you can get notified anytime we do go live or publish a video to release this new information. And if you're not a member of Hell's Trading Floor, we'd really love to have you. We teach people how to trade both swing trades and day trading and how to make the market work for them. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. But until then, have a hell of a time in the markets.